fans? The greatest legend of the modern era of the franchise has just confirmed that he will not return to the field, and now he's aiming for Hollywood studios. Meanwhile, the architect behind the Super Bowl champion roster sees rivals being rewarded while he remains overlooked by the front office. The question is simple and straightforward. What is happening in Los Angeles? Welcome! Show your support for the Rams by hitting 100 likes on today's video. The name is unmistakable. Aaron Donald, the terror of quarterbacks, the silent leader, and the most prominent face of the Rams in the 21st century. Now, the monster of the defensive line is trading his helmet for a script and revealing to the world his new focus, an acting career. In a recent interview with Sports Illustrated, Donald shared that he has been preparing for this transition since 2018 and has already participated in 2 auditions this year. The new chapter has begun, and it is far from the football field. Since announcing his retirement, many fans have held on to a glimmer of hope. Would he come back? Any chance of a final game? A symbolic farewell? None of that. In his own words, "I don't miss playing." Donald was direct on the Panthers Insider Show podcast. "I no longer have the passion or excitement to play football." With that, the greatest defensive force in the NFL over the past decade made it clear. The cycle has completely closed. The career he built needs no introduction. It spanned 10 seasons, 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, 8 Pro Bowl appearances, 7 All-Pro selections, and, of course, a Super Bowl title. Donald retired as one of the few players in history to leave at the peak of his career, healthy, with his legacy intact, and without regrets. There are no debts to football, and for the Rams, it's impossible not to feel the impact. What's most impressive is how prepared Donald already was. He isn't leaving the sport aimlessly, he's entering Hollywood with planning and ambition. And he's not the first. Other former NFL players, such as Thomas Jones, Eddie George, and Nnamdi Asomugha, have already shown that this transition is possible. The Rams' own history has strong precedents. Merlin Olsen and Rosie Greer, members of the iconic Fearsome Foursome, shown on screen after leaving the field. Merlin Olsen starred in films, acted alongside John Wayne, and was a regular presence in over 50 episodes of the series Little House on the Prairie. Later, he hosted his own series, Father Murphy. Rosie Greer became a true public figure in the U.S. In addition to active, he was the bodyguard of Robert F. Kennedy, a pastor, a politician, and even a community activist. With this history, Donald joins a legendary lineage of Rams who have shown both on and off the field. But the weight of his departure is inevitable. The Rams lose more than a defender. They lose a pillar of the franchise's recent identity. He was the standard of excellence, the mirror for young players like Kobe Turner and Byron Young. Without Donald in the locker room, the leadership responsibility spreads, and the pressure on the coaching staff increases. It will be necessary to fill not only the technical gap, but also the emotional and symbolic void he leaves behind. It's worth noting that his presence on the field influenced not only his teammates, but the entire game plan of opponents. Quarterbacks adjusted snap counts, offensive lines doubled down on blocking, offensive coordinators rewrote strategies, all because of a single player. Now, the Rams need to learn how to win without the gravitational force of Aaron Donald at the center of their defense. The franchise has made coherent moves to continue the rebuilding process. They've bet on youth, retained Sean McVay, and sought balance in the roster. But Donald's absence creates a new challenge: building a competitive team without its most dominant icon. And, curiously, at this moment of deep transition, the front office fails to recognize another key name from the victorious era, a mistake that could be costly. While Aaron Donald's name leaves a void on the field, another heavyweight name seems to be ignored behind the scenes. Les Snead, the general manager who built the Super Bowl champion team, has yet to be rewarded with a contract extension. And the most concerning part, colleagues like Ryan Poles, Omar Khan, and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah have just been renewed, even without titles or standout seasons.
The comparison with Poles is inevitable. The Bears GM has done a good job since 2022, accumulating valuable picks and reinforcing the roster with names like DJ Moore, Joe Thuney, and Keenan Allen. The cherry on top was the selection of Caleb Williams in the 2025 draft. However, no effective results have been achieved yet. Chicago hasn't even made it to the playoffs, and still, Poles received a new contract through 2029. Meanwhile, Les Snead, the man who transformed the Rams into champions and kept the team competitive amidst rebuilds, is still waiting. It's as if the front office has forgotten that Snead was the brain behind the bold trades that brought Matthew Stafford, Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller, and Odell Beckham Jr. It was he who redefined the concept of draft pick management, turning draft choices into real victories. The motto, "F them picks," became a culture in the Rams, and it worked. The 2021 Super Bowl is living proof of that. Of course, Snead made mistakes. The Allen Robinson case didn't pan out, the bet on Tre'Davious White was questionable, and the arrival of Jonah Jackson also divides opinions. But these missteps are common, and they don't erase his competence as a recruiter, negotiator, and strategist. If Poles can make mistakes with Darnell Wright, picked before Jalen Carter, and poorly calculated trades like Chase Claypool, and still be promoted, why doesn't Snead receive the same support? The Rams' omission is concerning because it sends the wrong message at a delicate moment. With Donald's departure and the transition of part of the roster, it was expected that the franchise would consolidate its executive structure. McVay was retained with a long-term contract, but Snead still has only 2 years left on his deal, without guarantees, without an extension, without stability. And this is particularly contradictory when considering that Snead not only built the past, but is also shaping the future. The current class of young talent for the Rams, including Puka Nacua, Steve Avila, Kobe Turner, and Byron Young, is a direct result of his recent work. Even without first-round picks for years, Snead found value, developed starters, and kept the team relevant. This is the definition of excellence in the NFL. The lack of recognition can also impact the internal environment. A GM who doesn't feel valued may reconsider his future, and other franchises would certainly welcome him with open arms. The NFL is a competitive market, and when it comes to minds like Les Snead's, there is no shortage of interested parties. The fan base, of course, observes everything with suspicion. Many wonder if this delay from the front office is a sign of a possible rupture in the future. Others fear that a new philosophy is being implemented, with more caution and less boldness, exactly the opposite of what made the Rams champions. And amid all this, the void left by Donald and the uncertainty surrounding Snead only increase the sense of institutional fragility. The definitive departure of Aaron Donald marks the end of an era and the beginning of a new phase where Les Snead's name should be the first to be solidified. Letting the greatest defender in the franchise's history leave without conflict was smart, but leaving the main architect of recent success without a guaranteed contract while rivals reward GMs still in formation is a management mistake. The Rams cannot lose the identity that brought them to the top of the NFL, and Les Snead is part of that identity. And you, Rams fan, is the front office right not to renew Snead for now, or is it already past time to recognize the man who changed the franchise? And about Donald, what is the greatest moment of his you will never forget? Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more sharp analysis straight from Los Angeles.